Today, we're diving into a really powerful framework that's all about accelerating your journey to wealth. Now, this isn't about the slow, traditional path we all hear about. This is a strategy to hit financial independence, maybe years, or heck, even decades sooner than you thought possible.
And this quote really gets to the heart of it. The idea is to reframe early retirement. It's not some far-off lottery winner's dream. No, it's a strategic shortcut to success, something you can actually build, starting now. It's all about working smarter, not just longer.
You know the traditional script, right? We're all taught it. You get a job, you work that 9 to 5 for 40-plus years, you try to save a little here and there, and you just cross your fingers that it's all enough by the time you hit 65. It's a well-worn path for sure, but man, is it a long one. And that's the big question, isn't it? What if the key wasn't some ridiculously complex financial spreadsheet, but just a simpler way of thinking about money? What if we could actually speed the whole game up? Well, let's break down exactly how that works.
Okay, so it all starts here. Everything, and I mean everything, in this framework hinges on one core principle. It's about getting crystal clear on the simple but incredibly powerful difference between assets and liabilities. This idea becomes the lens you look through for every single financial choice you make.
That's it. It really is that straightforward. An asset is anything that works for you, generating income and putting money into your pocket. And a liability? Well, that's anything that costs you money, constantly taking it out of your pocket. So the question you have to ask about everything you own or buy is simple. Is this an asset or is this a liability?
And here's where it gets real. Think of assets as these little employees you've hired that are working for you 24/7. That dividend stock that pays you every quarter, that's a great employee. A rental unit with positive cash flow, an absolute rockstar employee. But that car payment you have every month, or that high-interest credit card debt, those are major liabilities. They're constantly draining your resources. So just take a second and do a quick mental inventory. What in your life is working for you and what's working against you?
So your mission, if you choose to accept it, becomes incredibly clear. You just systematically focus on acquiring more things that pay you, and at the same time, you eliminate the things that you have to pay for. The goal is to get every single dollar you have working to buy you another income-producing asset.
Okay, so that's the foundation. Makes sense, right? But how do we actually accelerate the process? How do we put this on the fast track? Well, that's where our second big tool comes into play, the power of leverage.
In the simplest terms, leverage is just using other people's money to magnify your own results. You can think of it like a financial amplifier. You put a little bit in, and a whole lot more comes out. When you use it wisely, on the right kinds of assets, it can just dramatically speed up your growth way beyond what you could ever do on your own.
Let's make this really concrete with a quick example. Let's say you've got $10,000 ready to go. You're going to invest it in an asset you're pretty confident is going to grow by about 8% over the next year.
Now look at this. The difference is pretty huge. On its own, your 10 grand earns you $800. Hey, not bad at all. But by using leverage, let's say you borrow another $15,000. You now control a $25,000 asset. Even after you pay the interest on that loan, your profit jumps to $2,000. Get this, you've more than doubled your return on the exact same asset using the exact same amount of your own money. That is what we mean by acceleration.
So let's put it all together now. We've got our foundation, knowing the difference between assets and liabilities, and we've got our accelerator, the power of leverage. When you combine these two, you get a simple, repeatable framework for building wealth and building it fast. And here's the cycle. Step 1, you are relentless about identifying and acquiring assets that put money in your pocket. Step 2, you are just as relentless about minimizing and getting rid of liabilities that take money out. And then, step 3, you intelligently apply leverage to those assets to make them grow even faster. Then you just repeat the cycle. It's a powerful wealth-building engine.
And you know, the real beauty of this whole thing is its simplicity. You don't have to be some kind of financial wizard with complicated spreadsheets. It's really just about adopting a simple mental model. So with every dollar you think about spending or investing, you just ask yourself, is this getting me closer to my goal of owning more income-producing assets?
So let's just leave it with this one final thought. Forget about all the overwhelming complexity of finance for just a minute and focus on this one question. Looking at your life right now through this new lens, what is the very first asset you can acquire to start putting money back into your pocket? Because that right there, that's where the shortcut begins.